Hi everyone, Matt Watson here from CarWow. So I'm sat in the previous generation Mercedes-AMG G63, the old school G-Wagon. And next to me is my current Mercedes-AMG G63 G-Wagon in bright red paint. Yeah, my lovely long-termer. Now the reason I'm sat in this old car is because I want to do a comparison. I want to see how big a difference that new car is compared to this old car, how far Mercedes has come in terms of engineering, because remember, this thing was actually designed in 1979. Yes, they've tarted it up and fitted a massive engine under the bonnet, but its roots are archaic. Whereas that may look very similar, but it's all new and it's filled with way more technology and a new engine. So let's talk about the engines. This has a 5.5 litre twin turbo V8, 571 horsepower and 760 newton meters of torque. Obviously it's got all-wheel drive. We've also got an automatic gearbox with 7 speeds, weighs 2.5 tons. That new G63 has a smaller engine. They've downsized it. Oh dear. But while it may be a 4 litre twin turbo V8, it's got more power than this engine. It's got 585 horsepower and way more torque at 850 newton meters of torque. It's also got 9 speeds for its automatic gearbox. Yeah, again, all-wheel drive, obviously being a G-Wagon. So we're going to have a drag race to see what happens, but that's not all. We're going to do some other tests with it to compare the car's performance and also look around them, the cabins, the design and stuff like that, to just see the differences between the two vehicles, because like I say, they look very similar, but are they really that similar anymore? We're going to find out. Okay, the first thing I want to do though is compare the engine sounds. This car doesn't have the new petrol particulate filter, which helps remove nasty things from the environment that's coming out of the exhaust, but that also stops the nice noise getting to your ears. So let's just compare the sound of them. So I'm going to rev this one. Ooh. It's so funny when you rev it, the bonnet just twists as the engine inertia just causes the whole car to just move and flex. That sounds pretty good to me. Let's have a listen to the new G63. Give it some revs. Now, I quite like the sound of that, but I personally think this old one sounds better. But what do you think? Click on the pop-out banner up there to cast your vote. Also, please make sure you subscribe to this channel, hit the bell icon to turn your notifications on so you're alerted when we make a new upload. And also, why not follow me on Instagram, @MattWatsonCars. I'd really appreciate it if you go there and give me a follow for loads of behind the scenes stuff. Anyway, let's just crack on with the drag race.
3, 2, 1.
It was fairly even start, but blooming heck. This is weaving about all over the place. And that has just like lifted its nose and buggered the off. That's interesting. I've done quite a lot of drag races in my own G63. This was a little bit sketchy. It's like bouncing over the tarmac. It's all a little bit unnerving. It's weaving around. We're quite similar off the line. That just smashed this car though. That is progress for you, and that feels much, much better and more composed when you're accelerating hard. Got destroyed, but I'm glad, because that's my car and it worked.
So then what exactly happened? Well, the new G63 crossed the line in 12.4 seconds, while the previous generation model covered the quarter mile in 13.5 seconds.
Now it's time for the rolling race from 50 miles an hour, in comfort mode, in drive. I'm going to call it in, we're going to see what happens. So we're just cruising along on the motorway and then, oh look, there's another G-Wagon, I want to race it. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, this gearbox didn't kick down quite as quick as that one, but there wasn't much in it. It's over. This is really noisy when you're going quickly. It's definitely noisier than the new one. I am doing 120 though, but I've had enough, don't want to go quicker. Oh, and by the way, yeah, if you're on the motorway and someone comes next to you, don't race them, and I certainly wouldn't do it, and I wouldn't condone it, and CarWow wouldn't condone it, and don't do it. All right, this is just for your entertainment. and mine. Now we're going to do the same test again, but this time with the cars in manual mode and in third gear and in sporty setting. Take the change down out of the equation. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. This picked up nicely. That picked up nicer. Oh, the change at the very top of this is like... Come on, come on. Yeah, that was a better change. Oh, too noisy again, I'm backing off. I reckon it being red makes it quicker. Red cars are faster than black ones, so that's a little bit of an advantage. The pickup was very similar actually, both turbocharged. This obviously got a larger capacity, but it's not really making its larger capacity felt. That is just a better engine. That 4-litre twin-turbo V8 the Mercedes does at the moment is one of the best engines on the market. I might just be saying that because I've got one. No, I'm not. Now we come to the brake test. Full emergency stop from 70 miles an hour when we hit the line across the runway. Here we go, here's the line. Come on. Oh, ah! Oh, ah! That is the most surprising result yet. Okay, so I didn't win, but I wasn't hammered. It's a lot closer than I thought. This thing, for an old girl, actually brakes pretty well. That brakes really well as well. But this, I thought it'd be way worse. Well done, you. Well done. You've managed to maintain a little bit of dignity. It's good. It's not over yet, though. What I want to do now is compare these two G63's driving experience. So this is the same chassis that the original had, 1979. Crazy. And so when you're going over bumps, you really feel them. It can be quite a pain to live with, one of these things. They're not the comfiest, not comfy for long distance work, and not comfy really in terms of the noise you get on the motorway. And then there's the steering, which is just odd. It's old-fashioned. It uses something called recirculating ball. I don't really know how it works, but it doesn't work very well. There doesn't seem to be much of a relationship between the steering wheel and the front wheels, and yeah, this thing lists and leans. And now I want to see just how badly it handles by doing a slalom test. So here we go. It's gonna be fun, or not. Oh, no. As soon as you turn the wheel, the stability control just kicks in. You can see the light flashing away, and it just kills all the power. It almost like the car craps itself. Oh my God, I've got to turn, I don't like turning. Oh no, let's turn off the stability control, see what happens, see if it's a bit better. Here we go. Come on, you can do it. Seems as soon as the stability kicks in, it re-engages the system, so you can't fully turn it off. Oh God, that was just weird then. It like braked madly. Yeah, this is no good at this. Oh God, and I feel sick. Oh. Let's switch cars. I've just jumped into the new G63, and this car is notably more comfortable. Plus, it has proper rack and pinion steering, so the steering actually feels connected to the front wheels, which is good. I've also put it into sports mode, which stiffens up the suspension, which should help the handling a little bit as well. It has independent front suspension, which is better than the old version's rigid axle at the front. Not so good for off-roading, but it does have rigid axle at the back. Anyway, let's go for it. Let's see what happens. Come on, new car. What are you going to do? Are you going to crap yourself like the other one? No, look at that. It's still getting the ESP cutting in, but it's doing a lot better job. Oh, it will help if I change up a bit. There we go. That was quite good. I was quite impressed by that. I'm going to try it with the stability in sports mode. There we go. This is like worlds apart. That did a good job. You can make an evasive maneuver in this new one. Wouldn't fancy it in the old one, but this is like a world apart. It's actually cutting quite a fine line. Wow! That is the biggest difference. The performance between them, yeah, this was quicker. The braking, not much in it. Obviously the comfort and stuff inside and the build quality, this is nicer. But that slalom handling test really highlights just how bad the old G63 is to drive, and actually how surprisingly good this new one is. I'm amazed by the difference. It's night and day. It's really interesting having these two G-Wagons side by side because you can see just how faithful this new one is to the design of the original. Things like the indicators just on the top of the wings, though these had the screw heads exposed, whereas the modern one doesn't because it's modern, yeah. And there are those elements to it that's just a little bit more modern, such as the size of the headlamps, the size of the grille. In fact, the grille is the main difference that you can spot from the front because this has the new AMG grille, which has these vertical slats, whereas this one has the old grille, which is the horizontal slats. And to tell you the truth, when I see the old ones out and about, I am confused as to whether they're the new one or not, even though I've got the new one, because they look so similar, and it's that grille that really does just set it apart. Or at the back, the tail lights are ever so slightly different. They're a bit fatter on this new car. Also, when you do have them side by side, you notice that the new one is bigger, it's slightly wider, slightly squarer, slightly chunkier, whereas this one's got a bit more of a pinched face to it. It does look like an old vehicle that's been souped up with some add-ons such as side skirts and things like that to look more powerful, modern, and a little bit more exciting, to hint at the fact that it's got a turbocharged V8 under the bonnet. Whereas this one, it's more cohesive, the design. It's not like things have been added on. It all just works as one, but it's so faithful. I love it. I think it looks great. I personally prefer the look of the new one. I think it just works better because it's been designed from the ground up to look this way rather than slowly evolved over time like this one has. But what do you think? Click on the pop-out banner up there to cast your vote. Old or new? You decide. Oh my God, this seems pretty horrid in here, if I'm telling you the truth. Sorry, Mercedes, it just does. It's basically trying to make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. Yeah, there's leathery bits on the dash, but look at the shape of the dash itself. Grab handle has been carried across, but the way they've actually modernised it in the new car is so cool. This screen, obviously, back when this car was brand new. Even then it was a bit like a stuck-on tablet. Dials feeling old now. The old-fashioned gear selector that AMG used to use, that's not as old-fashioned as the rest of the car, just the feel of it. I do like this ruched leather though. That feels expensive, it really does. But the other bits and pieces, yeah, not so much. And the door bins, look, they're a bit narrow. The one in the new car, much more usable. And that basically sums up the new G-Wagon. It's a do-it-all car. It has the cool retro looks and the off-road capability, but it's a luxury car that you can actually live with and enjoy every day. Whereas this, you just feel like you're making compromises. Particularly don't like these cheap switches down here. They're very last generation Mercedes, as is this, look. Designo. I do like this though. Good old-fashioned manual handbrake for if you dare to do a handbrake turn in a tall vehicle such as this. May topple over. Here in the back of the old G-Wagon, you notice that it is a much older car. Just the packaging is nowhere near as good. It's quite large on the outside, but here, knee room is pretty much just like on a Ford Fiesta. I think an A-Class has more knee room. You can't really stretch out under the seat in front. There's something blocking the way. I think it's the air vents or something like that. But it's just not that comfy. I feel a bit hemmed in. Good view out though, that's great. Headroom, it's good. Not as good as the new one, but it's fine. Funniest thing, these screens. I mean, look at all that bezel. In fact, my phone screen's almost that big. It does seem a bit old-fashioned, but then this car is very old-fashioned. But there are bits of its old-fashionedness that I like, such as the way the doors clunk shut. In fact, they specifically engineered that clunky shut noise into the new one, though it still doesn't feel quite as clunky as this. And I like the old one for that. I also quite like the fact it's got an ashtray, not because I smoke, it's just dead retro. And you can imagine people in the back of these smoking big Cubans and just knocking their ash into there, I think. So with this old G, obviously, tailgate exactly the same because this is the one that influences that one over there. First thing you notice is though, it's not quite as well designed, it's more put together. Look at this parcel shelf. It's flimsy and cheap. Considering this car costs over £130,000, you'd expect better than that. Also, they haven't really built out the inside to make it nice and square. It does mean that it can be loaded up a little bit wider, but all of it just seems a bit cheaper really, doesn't it? You are definitely getting more for your money with the new one. One of the things about the new G63 is the fact that essentially it is a luxury car. The seats are gorgeous, the materials are great, the design is cool, everything is just on point. The infotainment system is good as well. I like the two big screens. It's not Mercedes' very latest system, but it is still pretty blooming good. I find it very easy to use. This car is super easy to travel long distances in as well. Really luxurious, really lovely. It feels like there are no compromises in here. The back of the new G is also pretty blooming nice. It's not absolutely massive, but knee room's all right, headroom's brilliant. The seats super comfy. I like the fact that you can recline them if you want to, and as you can see, I've got them fairly well reclined. Also, it's easy to stretch out because there's enough room under the seat in front. You'd be happy going a long distance in the back of this thing. It's not the biggest car in the world, but it's easily comfortable enough, and the huge windows are really good as well, give you a good view out. It's comfy, it's nice. This may be the new G, but look, it has a traditional style opening tailgate. It's quite heavy because of that big wheel on the back. The boot is quite usable, square shape as you can see, the way they've built it out. Very easy to use and load. I've got my dirty off-road mats in there, which I haven't quite tidied away yet. It's absolutely fine. Lovely, like it. Not sure it's the most practical colour, but hey, I like the look of it.